All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Lee. Happy Sabbath. Going to continue reading Exodus chapter 6. Um, didn't get to make a video last week. Got really busy teaching my children. But I like to try to make one at least every Sabbath so I can tell everybody Happy Sabbath. But we're going to continue on Exodus. This is the Dead Sea Scrolls translation of different fragments for anybody that's new. Different scroll fragments. And hang on one second. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so we got different fragments here, and they've got pretty much this website's very useful. They have different fragments all put together, and you can look in chapter form, or you can do it in scroll form here. So I got it in chapter form, so it groups all the fragments of Exodus 6 together. And the words that are, if the scroll is different from traditional text here, then the word text of the scroll are marked through and read like this. If the scroll is, the text that is missing from the text of the scroll that's in the traditional text is strike through. If the text in the scroll is missing from our text, it'll be like this. And you can see right there in red. So you can see what's in the Dead Sea Scrolls and what's not. I got this Brenton Septuagint pulled up here. It's got a lot of things that match the scrolls that are for some reason missing in the King James. I got the King James pulled up, Blue Letter Bible, Jubilees for comparison, also found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is quoted by Genesis. Jubilees is Torah written by Moses. So it's the book, the creation account, and then Genesis it quotes it and gives you more detail. So they go together. And then I've got the Aramaic Targums pulled up, which they have some interesting differences. They have doctrines of men just like the KJV and everything else, but so I got that pulled up. So, all right, we'll start. Happy Sabbath, Ken. And so we got Exodus 6, verse 4 here through, it's a good bit in that fragment. And then starts in verse 3 in this fragment, 3 to 6, 25 in that fragment, 5 in this fragment. So I'll pull 1 and 2 out of the Septuagint. Exodus chapter 6. And Yahuwah said to Moses, Now thou shalt see what I will do to Pharaoh, for he shall send forth with a mighty hand and with a high arm, and shall he cast them out of his hand. And Yahuwah spoke to Moses and said to him, I am Yahuwah. And you go back to 3 here. And I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as Yahuwah Almighty, but my name Yahweh I was not known to them. Or Yahuwah. I say Yahuwah, but I have also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their travels, in which they lived as aliens or strangers. Moreover, I have heard the groanings of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. Therefore tell the children of Israel, I am Yahuwah, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. And, well, I'll just keep going for now. So the next fragment, that was 4Q19. And we got, so starting at 4 in this fragment, 4Q1. I have also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their travels, in which they lived as aliens or strangers. Moreover, I have heard the groanings of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians kept in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. Therefore, tell the children of Israel, I am Yahuwah, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. And I will take you to myself for a people, and I will be your Elohim. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, who brings you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, and I will give it to you for a heritage. I am Yahuwah. So in verse 8 here, we got, he swore, and I swore in green letters. So words present in the scroll but with spelling differences that do not affect the meaning are in this in green. Common in Hebrew. But you see in verse 8 there. So in the traditional text it's got, I swore to give it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Septuagint says, and I'll bring you into land which I stretched out my hand to give it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So it doesn't even have swear in here. And Targums 6. Covenanted. Yep. It says, but the name of the word of the Lord was not known to them. Who's the word? Messiah. And therefore say to the sons of Israel, I will bring you into the land which I covenanted by my word, Messiah, to give unto Abraham. So it doesn't say swear either, but it says he covenanted. So like swear. To give unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So they got Isaac and Jacob in there too. And I will give it to you for an inheritance. So it's interesting. So he swore, the promise was to Abraham. So, and to his seed. So they may have just added Isaac and Jacob in there. Moses spoke so to the children of Israel, but they didn't listen to Moses for anguish of spirit and for cruel bondage. Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, go in, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. Moses spoke before Yahuwah, saying, behold, the children of Israel haven't listened to me. How then shall Pharaoh listen to me, who am of uncircumcised lips? Yahuwah spoke to Moses and to Aaron and gave them a command to the children of Israel and to Pharaoh king of Egypt to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. These are the heads of their fathers' houses, the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, Hanak and Palu and Hezron and Carmi. These are the families of Reuben. I want to pause for a second. Hanak, Palu. What verse is that? 14. Enoch, Phallus, Asron, Charmi, Reuben, kindred of Reuben. It's weird how you see the Greek translated out of the Hebrew, and then you see the Hebrew. And a lot of times, let's see, 14. Yeah, when you read the KJV, you'll see the Hebrew, and it's got Hanak, Palu, Hezron, Carmi, families of Reuben. So I like the pronunciation of the names in the Hebrew is a lot easier for me than reading the Septuagint. It's like reading some of these names is rough. So yeah, that's how the Dead Sea Scrolls has the names. The sons of Simeon, Jemuel and Jamin, and Ohad and Jachin, and Zohar and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman. These are the families of Simeon. And that's a big deal right there. That's the reason it says Canaanite woman, because they're not supposed to marry Canaanites. These are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations: Gershon and Kohath and Merari, and the years of the life of Levi were 137 years. The sons of Gershon, Libni and Shimei, according to their families. The sons of Kohath, Amram and Ishar, and Hebron and Uzziel. And we read the testament of Amram a few weeks ago in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And the years of the life of Kohath were 133 years. The sons of Merari, and that's I think that's a different Amram, because the other one was from Levi. Gershon, Kohath. Oh yeah, it's Levi. So Kohath, and then Kohath, Amram. Where's Kohath at? Gershon, Kohath, Merari. I never noticed that before. Kohath's not in there. The father of Amram. 18. Abram and Isar, Hebron, Uzziel, Kohath, sons of Merari, Muli, that's a wild name, Musa. These are the house of the families of Levi according to Kendrick. Amram. Yeah, see, Amram fathered Aaron and Moses and Miriam, but Kohath was Amram's father. Sons of Gershon, Kohath, Amram. I thought Kohath was. Yeah, okay. Kohath. Yeah, that's where I'm messing up at. Kohath. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's got Kohath. That's it. Yep. Let's see. Dead Sea Scrolls. Where's it at? Thompson. There we go. Giza Worms. Kohath. Let's see here. Kohath. Yep, see. Testament of Kohath. Kohath, father of Amram. Kohath. Well, I got to translate it like that there. Sons of Kohath. So in the Exodus scroll it says Kohath, and then the Testament of Kohath. Yeah, I know it is. Sons of Merari. Let's see. Sons of Kohath. Amram, Ishar, Hebron, Uzziel. The years of the life of Kohath, or Kohath, were 133 years. Sons of Merari, Mali, and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites according to their generations. Amram took Jochebed, his father's sister, to himself as wife, and she bore him Aaron and Moses. The years of the life of Amram were 137 years. The sons of Ishar, Korah, and Nepheg, and Zikri. So that's 21. The sons of Ishar, Kor, Nepheg, and Zikri. And the sons of Uzziel, Mishael, Elisaphan, and Segri. And Aaron took to himself to wife Elizabeth, daughter of Aminadab, sister of Nason, and she bore to him both Nadab and Abiud, and Eleazar and Ithamar, and the sons of Kor, Asir, and Elkanah, and Abiasar. These are the generations of Kor. Eleazar, Aaron's son, took one of the daughters of Putiel as his wife, and she bore him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers' houses of the Levites according to their families. 25. So the next scroll will give you, I forgot about this fragment here. Scroll 4Q22, 25. This is Paleo-Age. There were scrolls that had the Paleo-Hebrew. For anybody that says the Paleo don't matter. Here's a scroll in Paleo. Here's a scroll without Paleo. Eleazar, Aaron's son, took one of the daughters of Putiel as his wife, and she bore him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers' houses of the Levites according to their families. These are that Aaron and Moses, to whom Yahuwah said, bring out the children of Israel from the land of Egypt according to their armies. These are those who spoke to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring out the children of Israel from Egypt. These are that Moses and Aaron. On the day when Yahuwah spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, Yahuwah said to Moses, I am Yahuwah. Tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I tell you. Moses said before Yahuwah, behold, I am of uncircumcised lips, and how shall Pharaoh listen to me? So Moses says, I'm of uncircumcised lips. How shall Pharaoh? And in the Septuagint says, Moses said before Yahuwah, behold, I'm not able in speech. Here it says, I am of uncircumcised lips. I am of uncircumcised lips, KJV. Exodus 6:30. Blue Letter Bible. This is the interlinear. His name ain't Jehovah. You click on it and it'll tell you. See, this word here they got, Jehovah, is Lord. Lord. Unpronounced except with vowel pointings. Pretty easy to find. I'm not calling him Lord. I know his name. To the best of my understanding anyways. Let's see. Uncircumcised lips. H6189. All rel. Having foreskin. What would that have anything to do with him speaking? Uncircumcised of lips, i.e. slow of speech. Metaphor used. So the Septuagint tells you what it means. Stammering, one whose lips are closed as if it were with foreskin. I don't know why I would say that. And are therefore too long and thick to utter speech with faculty. Similarly, Jeremiah 6:10, Hebrew word, their ears closed with a foreskin. Their uncircumcised heart. Okay, and the Targums, and Moshe said before, you behold, I am difficult in speaking. How then will Pharaoh hearken to me? And most translations, like they'll have a metaphor. Obviously, this is an original document here, and the Septuagint's a translation. And so they'll have a metaphor, or they'll tell you what it means. So it says difficulty speaking. So obviously this was not the original document. The Septuagint was not the original document because they tell you what uncircumcised lips means. So I'm going to go back and read this fragment here. This is Exodus 6 from Wadi Merabat. Moreover, I have heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. Therefore tell the children of Israel, I am Yahuwah, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments, and I will take you to me for a people, and I will be to you a Elohim, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brings you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. So this manuscript says Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I will give it to you for a heritage. I am Yahuwah. Moses spoke so to the children of Israel, but they didn't listen to Moses for anguish of spirit and for cruel bondage. Chapter 7. Alright, so this scroll here is 2Q2, Exodus 7. Yahuwah said to Moses, Behold, I have made you as Elohim to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen to you, and I will lay my hand on Egypt, and bring out my armies, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. Scroll 4Q1. The Egyptians shall know that I am Yahuwah when I stretch out my hand on Egypt and bring out the children of Israel from among them. Moses and Aaron did so, as Yahuwah commanded them, so they did. Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spoke to Pharaoh. Yahuwah spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh speaks to you, perform a miracle. Then you shall tell Aaron, Take your rod and cast it down before Pharaoh, that it become a serpent. Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh, and they did so as Yahuwah had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers. They also, the magicians of Egypt, did the same thing with their enchantments. For they each cast down their rods, and they became serpents, but Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he didn't listen to them as Yahuwah had spoken. So 13 to 14. Now this manuscript's got Yahuwah spoke to Moses. Pharaoh's heart is stubborn. He refused to let the people go. 7:13. The Lord charged them. Yep. So where's it at? Yep. Go to Pharaoh in the morning. Behold, he goes out to the water, and you shall stand by the river's bank to meet him. And the rod which was turned into a serpent you shall take in your hand. You shall tell him, Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Hebrews, has sent me to you. So who's he a god of? He's the god of the Hebrews. Not of Rome, not of Greece, not Babylon, not Russia, not America. He's the god of the Hebrews. Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness, and behold, until now you haven't listened. Yahuwah says, In this you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Behold, I will strike with the rod that is in my hand on the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. The fish that are in the river shall die, and the river shall become foul, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink water from the river. Yahuwah said to Moses, Tell Aaron, take your rod, stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, and over their pools, and over all their ponds of water, that they may become blood. And there shall be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. Moses and Aaron did so as Yahuwah commanded, and he lifted up the rod and struck the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. 20. So in this scroll 4Q14, Verse 17, Yahuwah says, in this you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Behold, I will strike with the rod that is in my hand on the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. 17. Yes. You shall know that I am Yahuwah. Behold, I will strike. 17. That's interesting. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters. What? Let's see. Pseudo Jonathan Targum 7 6 7. No, that's Genesis. What am I doing here? Exodus. Seven. Let's see. Verse 17. Don't have verse numbers in here. It's hard to find where you're at. Going to Pharaoh. Chapter 7. I don't see it. Oh, 8. And they shall be, as in my hand on the waters which are in the river, they shall be turned to blood. Yahuwah said to Moses, tell Aaron, take your rod, stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, and over their pools, and over all their ponds of water, that they may become blood. And there shall be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. Moses and Aaron did so, so Yahuwah commanded. He lifted up the rod and struck the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. The fish that were in the river died, and the river became foul, and the Egyptians couldn't drink water from the river, and blood was throughout all the land of Egypt. The magicians of Egypt did the same thing with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he didn't listen to them as Yahuwah had spoken. Pharaoh turned and went into his house, and he didn't even take this to heart. 23. There's Paleo Exodus. So 23. And Pharaoh turned and entered into his house, nor did he fix his attention even on this thing. And all the Egyptians dug round about the river, so as to drink water, for they could not drink water from the river. And 7 days were fulfilled after Yahuwah had smitten the river. And Yahuwah said to Moses, go unto Pharaoh, and thou shalt say to him, these things says Yahuwah, send forth my people, that they may serve me. And if thou wilt not send them forth, behold, I will afflict all thy borders with frogs, and the river shall teem with frogs, and they shall go up and enter into thy houses, and into thy bedchambers, and upon thy beds, and upon the houses of thy servants, and of thy people, and on thy dough, and on thine ovens, and upon thee, and upon thy servants, upon thy people, shall the frogs come up. So this one right here, I'll go through this one. This is 4Q22, Paleo Exodus. Yahuwah said to Moses, behold, I have made you as a god to Pharaoh, or Elohim to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak to Pharaoh that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt, but Pharaoh will not listen to you. So I will lay my hand on Egypt and bring out my armies, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. The Egyptians shall know that I am Yahuwah when I stretch out my hand on Egypt and bring the children of Israel out from among them. Moses and Aaron did so as Yahuwah commanded them. So they did. Moses was 80 years old and Aaron was 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. Yahuwah spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, perform a miracle, then you shall tell Aaron, take your rod and cast it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a serpent. Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh, and they did so as Yahuwah had commanded. Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers. They also, the magicians of Egypt, did the same thing with their enchantments, for they each cast down their rods, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he didn't listen to them as Yahuwah had spoken. Yahuwah spoke to Moses. Pharaoh's heart is stubborn. He refused to let the people go. Go to Pharaoh in the morning, and behold, he himself is going out to the water. You shall stand by the river's bank to meet him. You shall take the rod which was turned to a serpent in your hand. You shall tell him, Yahuwah the Elohim of the Hebrews has sent me to you, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. Behold, until now you haven't listened. Yahuwah says, in this you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Behold, I will strike with the rod that is in my hand on the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. The fish that are in the midst of the river will die, and the river will become foul. The Egyptians will loathe to drink water from the river. And Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to him, Yahuwah Elohim of the Hebrews sent us to you, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, you have not listened until now. Yahuwah says, by this you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Behold, I am striking the water which is in the Nile with the rod that is in my hand, and it will be turned to blood. And the fish that are in the midst of the Nile will die, the river will stink, and the Egyptians will be weary of drinking water from the Nile. Yahuwah said to Moses, tell Aaron, take your rod, stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over the rivers, over their streams, and over their pools, and over their ponds of water, that they may become blood. So now he says, tell Aaron. That's odd. There will be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. I'm striking the water now with a rod in my hand. Behold, I am striking the... Then Yahuwah said, tell Aaron, take your rod. What's up with that? This reading matches the Samaritan Pentateuch. This reading matches the Samaritan Pentateuch in the Septuagint. The different choice of words here matches the Samaritan Pentateuch. Unlike most scrolls, this scroll is more likely to match the Samaritan Pentateuch than the Masoretic, which is KJV, in passages where the two differ. So this is the Samaritan Pentateuch here. That's why it's got a 3 right there. It matches the 3 down here. So... very interesting. Chapter 8. He said, I'm doing it. And then he sent Aaron to do it. That's odd. What's the Targum say? 7. And 7 days were completed after Yahuwah had smitten the river, and the word of Yahuwah had afterward healed the river. And Yahuwah spoke to Moses, go in unto Pharaoh and say to him, thus saith Yahuwah, emancipate my people, that they may serve before me. But if thou refuse to set them free, behold, I will plague all thy borders with frogs. And the rivers shall multiply frogs. So that's in the Septuagint. Let's see. And Moshe and Aaron did so as Yahuwah commanded. He lifted up the rod and smote the waters in the river in sight of Pharaoh, sight of his servants. All the waters of the river turned to blood. So also did the astrologers of Mitzrayim by their burnings turn the waters of Goshen into blood. What? No way he let them do that. See, added stuff. And Pharaoh did what was needful. Yeah, he said, Yahuwah told Moses, tell Aaron, take thy rod, and by this sign you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Behold, with the rod that is in my hand, I will smite the waters of the river. Another question. Exodus chapter 8, 17, 1. Here we go. Scroll 4Q14. Yahuwah spoke to Moses, go into Pharaoh and tell him, this is what Yahuwah says, let my people go, that they may serve me. If you refuse to let them go, behold, I will plague all your borders with frogs, and the river shall swarm with frogs, which shall go up and come into your house, and into your bedroom, and on your bed, and into your house of your servants, and on your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs, or trowels. Let's see, 1. And we got 3, 2's missing. So let's go to 2. And Aaron stretched forth his hand over the waters of Egypt and brought up the frogs, and the frog was brought up and covered the land of Egypt. And 3. 4Q20. And the river shall swarm with frogs, which shall go up and come into your house, and into your bedroom, and on your bed, and into the house of all your servants, and on your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs. And the frogs shall come up both on you, and on your people, and on all your servants. So 3 to 5. Yep. Yahuwah said to Moses, tell Aaron, stretch out your hand with your rod over the rivers, over the streams, and over the pools, and cause the frogs to come up on the land of Egypt. It's 5. 6 is missing. Yeah. Cause it disappear from thee. Land of Egypt. That's odd. What's that? And Moses said to Pharaoh, appoint me at a time when I shall pray for thee, and for thy servants, and for thy people, to cause the frogs to disappear from thee, and from thy people, and from your houses. Only in the river shall they be left behind. And he said on the morrow, he said, therefore, as thou hast said, that thou mayest know that there is no other Elohim but Yahuwah. And the frogs shall be removed away from thee, and from your houses, and from the villages, and from thy servants, and from thy people. Only in the river they shall be left. And Moses and Aaron went forth from Pharaoh, and Moses cried to Yahuwah concerning the restriction of the frogs, as Pharaoh appointed him. Moses said to Pharaoh, I will give you the honor of setting the time that I should pray for you and for your servants and for your people, that the frogs be destroyed from you and your houses and remain in the river only. Moses said, I will give you the honor of setting the time that I should pray for you. Pharaoh appointed him. Pharaoh ain't in charge of Moses. Nope. Chapter 8. Moses said to Pharaoh, glory over me when I shall entreat for thee and for thy servants, for thy people, to destroy the frogs, that they may remain in the river only. Pharaoh said, "Tomorrow." Moses said, "Be it according to your word, that you may know that there is no one like Yahuwah our Elohim." That's 11. 11 there. That scroll has got fragments all over the place. Fragments everywhere. The Septuagint does not match. And when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, his heart was hardened, and he did not hearken to them as Yahuwah had spoken. Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh. Moses cried to Yahuwah concerning the frogs which he had brought on Pharaoh. Yahuwah did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, out of the courts, and out of the fields. That is so off. And the charmers also did so with their sorceries to bring forth the louse, and they could not, and the lice were both on the men and on the quadrupeds. 15. So the charmer said to Pharaoh, but when Pharaoh saw that there was a respite, he hardened his heart and didn't listen to them as Pharaoh had spoken. So they had nothing about the charmers and stuff in here. Either they cut it out, I don't know. Yahuwah said to Moses, "Tell Aaron, stretch out your hand with your rod and strike the dust of the earth, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt." They did so, and Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and struck the dust of the earth, and there were lice on man and on animal. All the dust of the earth became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. The magicians tried with their enchantments, okay, here's magicians, to produce lice, but they couldn't. There were lice on man and on animal. 20, so 18, 19. Then the magician said to Pharaoh, "This is Elohim's finger." But Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he didn't listen to them as Yahuwah had spoken. Yahuwah said to Moses, "Rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. Behold, he comes out to the water, and tell him, this is what Yahuwah says, let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if you will not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies on you, and on your servants, and on your people, and into your houses. The houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground they are on. I will set apart in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end that you may know that I am Yahuwah on the earth." 22 to 26. I'll start land. And Moses and Aaron entered before Pharaoh and said to him, "Yahuwah says, let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you do not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies on you, and on your servants, and on your people, and on your houses, and the houses of Egypt will be filled with swarms of flies, and also he land where they are. And on that day I will set apart the land of Goshen where my people dwell, that there will not be swarms of flies, in order that you may know that I am Yahuwah in the midst of the land. I will put a division between my people and your people. This sign shall happen by tomorrow." Yahuwah did so, and there came grievous swarms of flies into the house of Pharaoh and into his servants' houses in all the land of Egypt. The land was corrupted by reason of swarms of flies. Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron and said, "Go sacrifice to Elohim in the land." So this is 2 here. The reading matches the Samaritan Pentateuch. Yep, that's what I thought. The name Yahuwah, or Yahweh, is written in Paleo-Hebrew script, unlike the rest of the scroll, which is in the usual later Hebrew script. See? He's going to restore his name? Yes, he did. That's the only reason we know it. It was taken away, and he's given it back. Now, for the rest of the people that don't accept it, is the prophecy where he said, "I'm going to take the name of Baal out of your mouth when you go into the wilderness." Baal. And it could be me too if I got the wrong name. Hope I got the right name. But I know Jesus ain't it, Lord ain't it, for sure. I think that's what he's talking about here. Jesus and Lord, and Jehovah, which is also Lord. Where's that? Hosea? I think it's Hosea. Name of Baal. Jeremiah 23:27, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. Jeremiah 23:27. I don't do this often, but if you can accept it, if it's good, pray about it. If it's not, that's between you and the Father. See, Baal, H1168, Baal equals Lord. Male divinity of the Phoenicians or Canaanites, who had the scriptures. They took them from the holy people who's had the scriptures all these years. And children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahuwah and served Baal. They forsook Yahuwah. They replaced his name and served Baal and Ashtaroth. All over the place. History repeats itself. Let's see. Surely I can find it in here. Jeremiah. Yeah, maybe here. Here we go. Found it. Praise Yah. Hosea 2:17. I will take the names of the Baal out of their mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. So, Samaritan Pentateuch. I got a Samaritan Pentateuch, but I barely read the thing. There's a lot of differences though. 23. 26 here. Moses said, it is inappropriate to do so, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to Yahuwah our Elohim. Behold, if we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, won't they stone us? The abomination of the Egyptians. I'll put division between my people and your people. This sign shall happen by tomorrow. Yahuwah did so, and there came grievous swarms of flies into the house of Pharaoh, into the servants' houses, and all the land of Egypt was corrupted by reason of swarms of flies. Let's see here. There was something. Three days into the wilderness. The dog fly shall both depart from thy servants. Remove the dog fly from Pharaoh. Oh, there's more. Let's see. Go ye. Got swarms of flies. And we will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to Yahuwah our Elohim. There's a lot more in the KJV. And Yahuwah did as Moses said, removed the dog fly from Pharaoh and from his servants and from his people, and there was not one left. Pharaoh hardened his heart even on this occasion, and he will not send the people away. Sacrifice. Huh. Pharaoh has said, we will go. Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that you may sacrifice to Yahuwah your Elohim in the wilderness. Only you shall not go very far away, entreat for me. Moses said, behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat Yahuwah that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh and from his servants, from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully any more, and not letting the people go to sacrifice to Yahuwah. And Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahuwah. And Yahuwah did according to the word of Moses, removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh. They got the verse numbers here all jacked up. That is swarms of flies. Makes it hard to compare. Let's see. Exodus 8:31. Swarms of flies. A robe. Each swarms. Diverse sorts of flies. Mixture. Incessant or involved motion. A mosquito. Well, they call it a dog fly. Got to be a reason why the Greek translated as dog fly. Let's see. Getting dark out. Almost all Hebrew interpreters understand it to be a collection of noxious beasts, as if a miscellaneous swarm, from in the signification of mixing. And so Aquila, Jerome, Luther, but this Hebrew word must denote some particular creature, as is all but manifest from the passage. Odeman understands Blatta orientalis, called in Dutch and German, whatever that is, but which is a creature that rather devours things than stings men, contrary to the express words of Exodus. Oh, there's dogfly. Species of fly, gadfly, very troublesome person, so I started in the middle. So called from sucking blood, see the root. Psalm 78 and 105 quoted, and the LXX, dogfly, which is described by Philo, who supposes its name to be from its boldness. Interesting. So, chapter 9, Exodus, we've got 10, 5. Yeah, I need to read my Pentateuch. So, 9. In Yahuwah, chapter 9, Exodus, Yahuwah said to Moses, go into Pharaoh, and thou shalt say to him, these things saith Yahuwah, Elohim of the Hebrews, send my people away, that they may serve me. If, however, thou wilt not send my people away, but yet detainest them, behold, the hand of Yahuwah shall be upon thy cattle in the fields, both on the horses, and on the asses, and on the camels, and oxen, and sheep, very great mortality. And I will make a marvelous distinction in that time between the cattle of the Egyptians and the cattle of the children of Israel. Nothing shall die of all that is of the children of Israel. So 5. Yahuwah appointed, that's 4Q22, Paleo Exodus. I like the earlier manuscripts, the Paleo. Yahuwah appointed a set time, saying, tomorrow Yahuwah shall do this thing in the land. And Moses and Aaron entered before Pharaoh and said to him, Yahuwah Elohim of the Hebrews says, let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let my people go, and still hold on to them, behold, the hand of Yahuwah will be on your livestock which is in the field, and on the horses, and the donkeys, and the camels, on the cattle, and sheep, a very serious matter. And Yahuwah will distinguish between the livestock of Israel and the livestock of Egypt, and nothing will die from all that belongs to the children of Israel. Tomorrow Yahuwah will do this thing in the land. 1. Reading matches the Samaritan Pentateuch. Yahuwah did that thing on the next day and all the livestock of Egypt died, but of the livestock of the children of Israel, not one died. Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not so much as one of the livestock of the Israelites dead. But the heart of Pharaoh was stubborn, and he didn't let the people go. Yahuwah said to Moses and to Aaron, saying, take handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the sky in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust over all the land of Egypt, and shall be a bulls and blisters breaking out on a man and on animal throughout all the land of Egypt. Grievous sores. Grievous sores. He's going to do it again. Revelation 16:11, and blasphemed Elohim of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. And putrefying sores. Where's grievous sores at? I know that's in there too. Grievous. Oh yeah, the mark. Yeah, grievous sores. Revelation 16:2, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon which them which worshipped his image. They took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up toward the sky, and it became bulls and blisters breaking on man and on animal. The magicians couldn't stand before Moses because of the bulls, for the bulls were on the magicians and on all the Egyptians. Yahuwah hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he didn't listen to them. As Yahuwah had spoken to Moses, Yahuwah said to Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh and tell him, this is what Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go, that they may serve me. For this time I will send all my plagues against your heart and against your officials and against your people, that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. So 15 is missing. 15. For now I would have stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with pestilence, and you would have been cut off from the earth. But indeed, for this cause I have made you stand, to show you my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. 16 to 19. Because you still exalt yourself against my people, that you won't let them go. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as has not been in Egypt since the day it was founded, even until now. Now therefore command that all your livestock and all that you have in the field be brought into the shelter. The hail will come down on every man and animal that is found in the field, and it isn't brought home, and they will die. And Moses and Aaron entered before Pharaoh and said to him, Yahuwah, Elohim of the Hebrews, says, let my people go, that they may serve me. For this time I will send all my plagues on your heart and upon your servants and upon your people, that you may know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I have sent forth my hand to strike you and your people with a plague and cut you off from the land. But indeed for this reason I have allowed you to stand, to show you my power and to declare my name throughout the earth. Yet you still exalt yourself against my people by not letting them go. Behold, tomorrow at about this time I will cause very heavy hail to fall, such as has not been in Egypt since this day it was founded, even until now. Now therefore send, gather your cattle and all that you have in the field, every man and animal that is found in the field and that is not brought home. The hail will come down on them, and they will die. Those who feared Yahuwah's word among the servants of Pharaoh made their servants and their livestock flee into the houses. Whoever didn't respect Yahuwah's word left his servants and his livestock in the field. 21 to 35. That's Samaritan Pentateuch matches that too, according to this down here. 21. So 22. Yahuwah said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward the sky, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt. And this extra stuff in the other text is missing from the Dead Sea Scrolls. 22. Yep. On all the land of Egypt. Moses stretched out his rod toward the heavens, and Yahuwah sent thunder and hail, and lightning flashed down to the earth. Yahuwah rained hail on all the land of Egypt. So there was very severe hail, and lightning mixed with the hail, such as had not been in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. The hail struck throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and animal, and the hail struck every herb of the field, and broke every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, the hail was not. Second Exodus. Wherever we're at, there's not going to be. Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said to them, I have sinned this time. Yahuwah is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. Pray to Yahuwah, for there has been enough of mighty thunderings and hail. I will let you go, and you shall stay no longer. Moses said to him, as soon as I have gone out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands to Yahuwah. The thunder shall cease, and there will not be any more hail, that you may know that the earth is Yahuwah's. But as for you and your servants, I know that you don't fear Yahuwah, thy Elohim. The flax and the barley were struck, for the flax was blooming and the barley had ripened, but the wheat and the spelt were not struck, for they had not grown up. Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread abroad his hands to Yahuwah. And the thunders and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured on the earth. When Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders had ceased, he sinned yet more and hardened his heart, he and his servants. The heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he didn't let the children of Israel go, just as Yahuwah had spoken through Moses. Yep, that's the same. 35. Yeah. So, chapter 10 is 102. Happy Sabbath, John and Electra. The Septuagint does not say what the online one says. I noticed that with Enoch, that the Enoch that I have of R.H. Charles, they've changed the online version. Yeah, here's the verse from the Septuagint, Exodus 8:8. And Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said, pray for me to Yahuwah, and let him take away the frauds from me and from my people, and I will send them away, and they shall sacrifice to Yahuwah. Bali is a different word to Lord. Bali is H1180 and Lord H368. It's a lot to dig into. Let's see. Where was that? Yep. So we got chapter 10. Yahuwah said to Moses, this scroll 4Q11. Paleo, Genesis, Exodus. Yahuwah said to Moses, go into Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that I may show these my signs among them, and that you may tell in the hearing of your son and of your son's son what things I have done to Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that you may know that I am Yahuwah. Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh and said to him, this is what Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Hebrews, says, how long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Or else, if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your country, and they shall cover the surface of the earth, so that one won't be able to see the earth. They shall eat the residue of that which has escaped, which remains to you from the hail, and shall eat every tree which grows for you out of the field. So 5. 6. Your houses shall be filled, and the houses of all your servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, as neither your fathers nor your fathers' fathers have seen since the day that they were on the earth to this day. He turned and went out from Pharaoh. Pharaoh's servants said to him, How long will this man be a snare to us? Let the men go, that they may serve Yahuwah their Elohim. Don't you yet know that Egypt is destroyed? Moses and Aaron were brought again to Pharaoh, and he said to them, Go serve Yahuwah your Elohim. But who are those who will go? Moses said, We will go with our young and with our old. We will go with our sons and with our daughters, with our flocks and with our herds, for we must hold a feast to Yahuwah. He said to them, Yahuwah be with you. If I let you go with your little ones, see evil is clearly before your faces. Not so. Go now, you who are men, and serve Yahuwah, for that is what you desire. Then they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. Yahuwah said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the land of Egypt for the locust, that they may come up on the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail has left. 13. Moses stretched out his rod over the land of Egypt, and Yahuwah brought an east wind on the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locust. The locust went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the borders of Egypt. They were very grievous. Before them were no such locusts as they, nor will there ever be again. For they covered the surface of the whole earth, so that it was destroyed, not darkened, destroyed. And they ate every herb of the land and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. There remained nothing green, either tree or herb of the field, through all the land of Egypt. So 16. Let's see. 16. Nope. 19. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against Yahuwah your Elohim and against you. Now therefore please forgive my sin again, and pray to Yahuwah your Elohim, that he may also take away from me this death. Moses went out from Pharaoh and prayed to Yahuwah. Yahuwah turned an exceedingly strong west wind, which took up the locust and drove them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the borders of Egypt. Yahuwah turned an exceedingly strong west wind, which took up the locusts and drove them into the Red Sea. Yeah, so 19 and 18 in one manuscript, 19 in another. But Yahuwah hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he didn't let the children of Israel go. Yahuwah spoke to Moses, Stretch out your hand toward the sky, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt. And they've got marked out even darkness, which may be felt. Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. They didn't see one another, and nobody rose from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. Pharaoh called to Moses and to Aaron and said, Go serve Yahuwah. Only let your flocks and your herds stay behind. Let your little ones also go with you. Moses said, You must also give into our hands sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice to Yahuwah our Elohim. Our livestock also shall go with us, not a hoof shall be left behind. For of it we must take to serve Yahuwah our Elohim, and we don't know with what we must serve Yahuwah until we come there. But Yahuwah hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he wouldn't let them go. Pharaoh said to him, Get away from me, be careful to see my face no more, for in the day you see my face you shall die. 27. Whoa, that's a lot more. Yeah. That's not it. 10. 20. And Moses said, Thou hast said, I will not appear in thy presence again. 29. And down here you got a note here. This matches the Pentateuch. This matches the Pentateuch. And this matches the Pentateuch and the LXX. 27. Yeah, let me pull up Forever Learning and Studying. Hallelujah. It's a blessing. It's a lot of searching, but it's a blessing. If I can pull up, and I got the Pentateuch on here too. I meant to study it more. I just hadn't studied it much. I keep getting distracted on something else. Charles Thompson, Exodus. So this is the Thompson LXX. I got Thompson and Brenton, and they've messed with both of them. So, but this is Thompson's translation, verse 8:8. I just want to look at that. Yet Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said, "Pray for me to Yahuwah and let him take away the frogs from me and my people, and I will let them go that they may sacrifice to Yahuwah." Septuagint. Brenton Septuagint. Say, Moses and Aaron went forth from Pharaoh. Moses cried to Yahuwah concerning the restriction of the frogs as Pharaoh appointed him. Yep. Brenton does not match. The Thompson matches what you got. Exodus 8:8. Take away the frogs. Entreat. Yep. Interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. And I forgot it wasn't Sabbath over there. 16-hour time difference. Let's see. So we got Jubilees chapter 48. I can't remember where I was at last time. Let's see. In the 6th year of the 3rd week of the 49th Jubilee, thou didst depart and dwell in the land of Midian. That's Moses, 5 weeks and 1 year, and thou didst return into Egypt in the 2nd week, in the 2nd year, in the 50th Jubilee. And thou knowest what he spake unto thee on Mount Sinai, and what Prince Mastema, Satan, desired to do with thee when thou wast returning into Egypt on the way, when thou didst meet him at the lodging place. And these are the dates. Jubilees 49 years. It's Moses, year 2410 of creation. So you started Adam, and you got 2,410 years to where we're at now. Then you can figure out how long the earth's been around. Did he not with all his power seek to slay thee and deliver the Egyptians out of thy hand, when he saw that thou wast sent to execute judgment and vengeance on the Egyptians? So Satan wanted to slay him and save the Egyptians, and I delivered thee out of his hand, and thou didst perform the signs and wonders which thou wast sent to perform in Egypt against Pharaoh, and against all his house, and against his servants, and against his people. And Yahuwah executed a great vengeance on them for Israel's sake, and smote them through the plagues of blood and frogs and lice and dog flies. Okay, Jubilees has got dog flies. And malignant boils, breaking forth in blains, and their cattle by death and by hailstones. Thereby he destroyed everything that grew for them, and by locusts which devoured the residue which had been left by the hail, and by darkness, and by the death of the firstborn of men and animals, and on all their idols Yahuwah took vengeance and burned them with fire. That is interesting. Didn't I see that in there? 20. Previous chapter. Sorry, I scroll a lot. I don't think it said idols in here. Maybe it did. Abomination of the Egyptians. Yep. Moses said, it is inappropriate to do so, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians. So it's not appropriate for them to sacrifice the abominations of the Egyptians to Yahuwah Elohim. Go sacrifice to your Elohim in the land. Behold, if we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, won't they stone us? Oh, he's talking about I think the cattle were worshipped in Egypt, so they couldn't sacrifice. And they call it abomination because it was the Egyptians' idols.
Got it. Yep.
That's why they call it abomination. That's the idols of the Egyptians. So, where are we at? Yep. No, that's not it. So, they're idols. Well, no, that's not it, because he took vengeance and burned them with fire. I don't think he burned all their well, I mean, he destroyed some of them by death of firstborn of men and animals. Yeah, he destroyed their livestock too. So, yep. Let's see. And everything was sent through thy hand, that thou shouldst declare these things before they were done. And thou didst speak with the king of Egypt before all his servants and before his people. Just zoom in a little bit more. Here we go. And everything took place. Excuse me. And everything took place according to thy words. 10 great and terrible judgments came on the land of Egypt. That's why I love Jubilees. Look at that. Came on the land of Egypt, that thou mightest execute vengeance on it for Israel. And Yahuwah did everything for Israel's sake, and according to his covenant, which he had ordained with Abraham, that he would take vengeance on them, as they had brought them by force into bondage. His covenant, which he ordained with Abraham. And the prince of the Mastema, stood up against thee, and sought to cast thee into the hands of Pharaoh, and he helped the Egyptian sorcerers, and they stood up and wrought before thee. So Satan helped the Egyptian sorcerers. The evils indeed we permitted them to work, but the remedies we did not allow to be wrought by their hands. And Yahuwah smote them with malignant ulcers, and they were not able to stand, for we destroyed them, so that they could not perform a single sign. And notwithstanding all these signs and wonders, the prince of the Mastema, that's an odd way to put that, was not put to shame, because he took courage and cried to the Egyptians to pursue after thee with all the powers of the Egyptians, with their chariots and with their horses, with all the hosts of the peoples of Egypt. Now, I'm going to stop there till next time. Well, I'll share a little something that caught my eye this week. And I stood between the Egyptians and Israel, and we delivered Israel out of his hand and out of the hand of his people. And Yahuwah brought them through the midst of the sea as if it were on dry land. So, go to Enoch. Nope, wrong one. Enoch, contents, 60. That's 89. 89. Okay, this is the flood of Noah. The dream vision of Enoch that he had before he got married, or took his wife. The second vision he had. This is the animal dream vision. Chapter 89. That's Noah. And death of Noah to the Exodus. This is I think the translator's notes. But so you go down here. And you go to, and I saw the sheep till they departed from amongst the wolves. So the wolves are the Egyptians coming out of Egypt. But the eyes of the wolves were blinded. Those wolves departed in pursuit of the sheep with all their power. And who did it say had blinded the Egyptians? in Jubilees. And let's see. Blinded their minds. There's a verse on that. Second Corinthians 4:4, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Messiah, who is the image of Elohim, should shine unto them. So you got here, the wolves were blinded, and those wolves departed in pursuit of them. And the Lord of the sheep went with them as their leader, and all his sheep followed him, and his face was dazzling and glorious and terrible to behold. Who's the Lord of the sheep? But the wolves began to pursue those sheep till they reached a sea of water, and that sea was divided, and the water stood on this side and on that before their face, and Yahuwah led them and placed himself between them and the wolves, or Yahusha. And as those wolves did not yet see the sheep, they proceeded into the midst of the sea, and the wolves followed the sheep, and those wolves ran after them into that sea. And when they saw the Lord of the sheep, they turned to flee before his face. But that sea gathered itself together, and it became as it had been created, and the water swelled and rose till it covered those wolves. And I saw till all the wolves who pursued those sheep perished and were drowned. But the sheep escaped from that water and went forth into a wilderness where there was no water and no grass. And they began to open their eyes and see, and I saw the Lord of the sheep pasturing them and giving them water and grass, and that sheep going and leading them. And that sheep ascended to the summit of that lofty rock, and the Lord of the sheep sent it to them. And after that I saw the Lord of the sheep who stood before them, and his appearance was great and terrible and majestic, and all those sheep saw him and were afraid before his face. And they all feared and trembled because of him, and they cried to that sheep with them, which was amongst them, we are not able to stand before our Lord or to behold him. That's when he was on the mountain. And that sheep which led them again ascended to the summit of that rock, but the sheep began to be blinded and to wander from the way which he had showed them, but that sheep was not thereof. And the Lord of the sheep was wrathful exceedingly against them, and that sheep discovered it, Moses, and went down from the summit of the rock and came to the sheep, found the greatest part of them blinded and fallen away. So it's easy to mix it up, but the Lord of the sheep is Messiah, and the sheep that leads them, well, he takes over leading them, but that's Moses. So it's pretty cool. And from the death of Noah to the Exodus. He called the sheep that escaped those wolves and spake with it. That's Moses. Okay, so this is the story of Joseph, and then and the Lord Yahuwah brought the 11 sheep to live with it. That's the 11 brothers, and to pasture with it among the wolves, and they multiplied and became many flocks of sheep, and the wolves began to fear them, the Egyptians. They oppressed them until they destroyed their little ones, and they cast their young into a river of much water. But those sheep began to cry aloud on account of their little ones, and to complain unto their Elohim, Yahuwah. And a sheep which had been saved from the wolves fled and escaped to the wild asses, the Ishmaelites. Moses escaped the Egyptians. And I saw the sheep, how they lamented and cried and besought their master with all their might, till that Lord of the sheep descended at the voice of the sheep from a lofty abode, and came to them and pastured them. And he called that sheep which had escaped the wolves. Who's that? Moses. So who's he? The Lord of the sheep, who descended from the lofty abode. He called Moses, who had escaped the wolves, spake with him concerning the wolves, that it should admonish them not to touch the sheep. And the sheep went to the wolves according to the word of Yahuwah. Who's the word? Who's the Lord of the sheep? And another sheep met it and went with it, and the two went and entered together into the assembly of those wolves, and spake with them and admonished them not to touch the sheep from henceforth. And thereupon I saw the wolves, and how they oppressed the sheep exceedingly with all their power, and the sheep cried aloud. And Yahuwah came to the sheep, and they began to smite those wolves, and the wolves began to make lamentation. But the sheep became quiet and forthwith ceased to cry out. And I saw the sheep till they departed from amongst the wolves, but the eyes of the wolves were blinded, and those sheep, see, they departed. But see, the pillar, the pillar of fire that went before the Israelites and the pillar of smoke behind them, it's Messiah. His face was dazzling, glorious, terrible to behold. So just thought I'd share that. I thought it was cool. I was reading this week and I was like, whoa, I can't remember if I shared that on the other video or not. So, but yep, so I guess I'll get off here, and hope that was a blessing to everyone. And I'll